According to the official research notes, Clefable is a creature of absolute seclusion. Its hearing is so acute it can detect a pin drop from over half a mile away, making it incredibly wary of humans. In the wild, it spends its life hiding in the deep mountains, only emerging on moonlit nights to walk across the surface of deserted lakes. But if you look at the raw data beneath the folklore, you find a Pokémon that is statistically unremarkable. Its base stat total is exactly 483. Its physical defense is average, and its speed is slow enough that it will almost always be forced to take a hit before it can move. For the first 15 years of the franchise, Clefable's competitive presence matched its timid lore. It was just another member of a crowded group of normal types. Versatile, certainly, but largely overlooked in favor of more powerful monsters. As a normal type, it possessed no elemental resistances. Every attack from an opponent dealt at least full damage, and its vulnerability to common fighting-type moves meant it was often knocked out in a single turn by the era's most popular physical attackers. That changed in 2013 with a specific update to the game's code. For the release of Pokémon X and Y, Clefable was reclassified, losing its normal type status to become a pure fairy type. This shift altered every interaction Clefable had on the field. Because fairy types are completely immune to dragon-type energy, a creature that once ran from conflict could now stand perfectly still as a massive beam from a legendary dragon washes over it, without taking a single point of damage. This single line of reclassified code moved Clefable out of the shadows. It meant that the mediocre base stats on its profile were suddenly supported by the most favorable defensive typing in the game. The strength of the fairy typing is found in its resistances. This visual equation shows the upgrade. In addition to the dragon immunity, Clefable began to take half damage from dark, fighting, and bug-type attacks, three of the most common offensive types in competitive play. Its most influential defense is Magic Guard, ensuring Clefable only takes damage from direct attacks. Passive damage, like toxic poison or sharp entry hazards, simply bounces off without affecting its health. It even ignores the health-draining recoil of powerful items like a life orb. While most defensive abilities offer limited, specific resistances, like absorbing fire attacks or having physical damage, Magic Guard functions as a broad exception to the game's core attrition rules. It removes the tools opponents use to wear down targets over time. This creates a unique frustration for the opponent. They are forced to try and knock Clefable out with direct brute force attacks, which is exactly what its resistances are designed to prevent. This interaction shifts Clefable's role on a team. It moves beyond acting as a passive sponge that purely absorbs damage, and functions as a utility threat that remains at full health while the rest of the field is worn down. If Magic Guard handles the hazards, Clefable's second ability, Unaware, handles the other main way players break through defensive walls, the setup. A common strategy involves a setup sweeper, using moves like Swords Dance to multiply damage output for a one-hit knockout. The Unaware ability simply deletes those multipliers from the calculation, treating the opponent as if they were at their original, unboosted level. This creates a guessing game for the opponent. Not knowing which ability Clefable is using, they risk wasting their turns. Boosting stats against Unaware or poisoning Magic Guard, their strategy simply fails. While the opponent is paralyzed by that uncertainty, Clefable is free to use its massive move pool. It can heal itself with a soft boiled, set up its own hazards with Stealth Rock, or begin its own sweep using Calm Mind. In the end, its greatest asset isn't a high stat. It's the ability to render the opponent's hard-earned advantages irrelevant. We can see the limits of this utility when we look at modern data from 2-on-2 VGC tournaments. In this fast-paced format, Clefable occupies a lower tier with a 34% win rate. Here, the gains are too quick for its immunity to attrition to matter, and it is mostly used to redirect attacks away from its teammates. But in the methodical environment of 6-on-6 singles, Clefable remains a dominant force. When the battle is a marathon rather than a sprint, its ability to ignore the standard rules of engagement becomes its greatest strength. A moment of wonder. This brings the Shy Fairy's double life into focus. The same creature that the research notes describe as too timid to be seen by humans is the same one that refuses to be moved in the heat of a competitive match. It serves as a reminder that in a complex system, the highest numbers on a spreadsheet don't always win. Clefable succeeds by changing the terms of the fight, proving that the most unassuming player in the room is often the one who actually controls the outcome.